when you need to see it, that it gives you the confirmation or the resonance. I almost resonation. I almost said I don't know if that's a word. That you need, but I'm just going to kind of get to it. So I'm reading from this book called Jesus is Calling, and I'm going to read today's entry. So today is December 22nd. Happy December. Okay, so here's the word. Come to me and rest in my presence. As you ponder the majestic mystery of the Incarnation, relax in my everlasting arms. I am the only person who was ever sired by the Holy Spirit. This is beyond your understanding. Instead of trying to comprehend my incarnation intellectually, learn from the example of the wise men. They followed the leading of a spectacular star, then fell down in humble worship when they found me. Praise and worship are the best responses to the wonder of my being. Sing praises to my holy name, gaze at me in silent adoration, look for a star of guidance in your own life, and be willing to follow wherever I lead. I am the light from on high that dawns upon you, to guide your feet into the way of peace. So I kept getting this message this morning. A lot of it was about, okay, so there's a couple messages that are coming through. So one of the messages is about consistency, right? It's about whatever we're committing to, however we're committing to it, it's about being consistent every day. Doing our best every day is not going to look the same. That's a big message that's been coming through, to not be so hard on ourselves. But also the same message is coming through about understanding, and that it's not about our understanding. It's about our surrendering to God. It's about our devotion to God. It's about our devotion to our higher power, our devotion to our highest good. Because when you're devoted to your highest good, in alignment with God, right? Like when you're coming from the place of your inner alignment, your heart, right? Like your heart's desires, like, that there's no wrong that can be, there's no wrong. It's about listening to that inner star, listening to that inner northern star and following it. I'm going to pull cards because I already knew I was going to pull cards. Good morning. So let's get some morning messages. I just did the morning word from the book that I'm reading, and now I'm going to pull cards for us to see what the messages are for our highest good. I pray that wherever you are, that you're doing well. Okay, so the first card that comes out is the Seven of Chalices. So this message is about opening up to all the possibilities, opening up our minds. There's a lot of rewiring of our minds that's happening. And so it's really about, look at her. It's about literally like opening up our imagination. Okay. Another message that was coming through is like when we're on the path with God, when we're devoted in our spirituality, right? Like, again, I don't want this to look like one way, but I do want to say like, it's like when you are in true alignment, when you are looking for the divine, right? In the right places. Okay. We really open up ourselves to opening up our minds, and really like the message is like not needing your, like, stop thinking logically about how God works. Like, God doesn't work logically. Right? Like, God doesn't need to follow all the steps that humans need to take, like we need to take in our physical forms. So God has a different set of rules at a different level. So that's how miracles happen. And so it's about opening up ourselves up to the miracles, opening up ourselves up to the cup that's being offered of love, right? That's right here in front of us. The cup that's being offered to ourselves, right? This is about, it always starts with our inner connection with the divine. It always starts with, it always starts with our inner connection with the divine and opening up to the cup of love, of the infinite, opening up our emotions and emptying ourselves to rewire, right? So the message that I just got with this that I feel called to repeat is like, not needing to expect certain steps when it comes to God. When it comes to God, like you don't get like Like, you don't need things to happen in a certain way. Pray that I'm saying this in a way that makes sense to you right now, family. Like, when you're opening up to God, God doesn't need to follow the steps that we need to take as humans. So give like your praise, give your worship, right? Like give your prayers, devote time to connecting with the divine, with God's source, however, in your intimate time, however that looks. And then open yourself up to knowing that God is going to fulfill whatever you're asking for in a way that doesn't have to follow certain steps. And also open yourself up to, if you're getting certain guidance from God to do things a certain way, it doesn't need to follow certain steps, okay? Like, it doesn't need to, that's the message, okay? Like God doesn't need to follow certain steps. Like, I just keep getting that. It's like our minds think like A has to happen, B has to happen, C has to happen. But God is like, I'm A through Z. So if I say, like, if you're at A and God says that you belong at Z, open yourself to the wonder. Don't worry about how it's going to happen. Whatever promises God has made you, whatever miracles you're asking for, just know that God is going to deliver, and it may not look in the way your mind thinks it needs to look, how you were trained to think it needs to look, and be open to the other ways and the other forms that things are going to come in for you. Okay? Yeah. That's the message. Okay. Also, like, opening yourself up to your creativity, opening yourself up to your divinity, opening yourself up to your connection, and cultivating your connection with God. Okay, the next card that's coming up to share is Judgment. Yeah, okay. So this feels interesting. So this feels like, I'm going to tell you what this feels like, okay? This feels like us or you, whoever this message is for, like, giving God all of your old thoughts, your old paradigm, your old life, your old way of being, like offering that to the Lord, offering that to God. This is so interesting. And like clearing yourself and in offering these old identities and offering who, like, all of that comes with that. I don't know what that is for all of you. This is general, so please take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Like, you, in offering that and taking the time to really look at those parts of you that you're giving up, and that old life of yours that you're giving to God, it's like you clear yourself. You become your divinity. It's like your highest self. Like, okay, like, I'm giving this old life back to the divine. That's the judgment that's being called. This is so crazy. Yeah. I'm going to get more on this. Okay. Like, let's get some more advice on how we can offer this. I feel like some of you are doing this. Some of you know that this is part of your process right now. But I'm going to get advice, right? Because I feel like we're going through this in this moment. So like, how can we better offer like this old life? Like, yeah. Okay. Like, that's another message. Okay. You don't need advice on that. Whoever this is for, you know, to go to your guidance, you know what you're getting about this. But the message that came is like, we need to give the things. The offering is like our old lives now. The offering is our old paradigms. The offering is our old mindsets. The offering is our old hurts, our old pains, our old emotions. Like, God is like saying, like, give that like on the altar, and that clears you. This is almost like your soul doing that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And that's like the fight right now, right? Like, that's like the inner fight. It's like this like fight of like, this is like what we need to be doing. And this is like the back and forth that's happening for some of us. Okay. I'm going to keep going with these messages. Okay. So this is the back and forth that some of us are going through internally. Also, again, I don't know why I keep having to talk about this way. This is so weird, but like this like devil energy, right? Like this like outside illusion energy, right? Like, again, like, I don't come from it. It's not, okay. It's not like this thing Like, it's a battle between ourselves, and it's a battle between the parts of ourselves that are connected with that energy and are letting that energy go and letting it go pass, okay? Yeah. Just recognize it's a battle with yourself. Yes, like there's outside battles for some of us, but it's all a reflection of any inner wounds that we're healing, right? Yeah. Yeah. And this offer. Yeah. And needing to let all this go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. Yeah. Another thing is be careful. Yeah, it's like there's this offer, and this offer is like this inner battle, and it's like this outside, like things are falling apart around you. Sorry, I'm channeling messages right now, so please take what's for you. If you've been led here, it's for a reason. Yeah. So it's like there's things, outside circumstances that are falling around you. This doesn't feel negative. This feels like things that need to crumble. And like it feels like this judgment is like where you're going, and like the necessary advice is like the first message I got, which is like opening up yourself to the possibilities. Like this, like these towers, like this battle, like this, all this stuff is all about opening yourself up to God and coming back into your connection with God, coming back into like who you really are, like your source and like your true imagination. I'm hearing like your inner child.